I became a teacher because I wanted to do meaningful work where I was helping students achieve at higher levels and help them to be the most successful that they could be in school.
I have always loved kids. I knew in second grade that I wanted to be a teacher and that I wanted to make a difference in kids' lives and to affect the future.
The reason that I wanted to become a teacher is I knew that I wanted to have some sort of influence on youth. So I was active with sports, I did a nice job with my academics in high school as well, and I just kind of viewed it as a great way to connect.
I was a stay-at-home mom for about 25 years while my husband was in the military. And as a stay-at-home mom, I volunteered with my children at their schools. And I fell in love with working with kids, specifically reading to kids, and I would read to kids every day with an accelerated reader program while they were in elementary school. And I loved those light bulb moments when I would read with kids and I would start to see them get it, and I fell in love with that moment.
I can't remember a time that I didn't want to be a teacher. I always loved kids and felt that I could connect with them, and there just wasn't anything else for me to do.
What I liked about it when I did my clinicals is that some of my students, when I worked with them, not only was I teaching them, but they taught me. I wanted to make a difference in children's lives. I wanted to be that one impact or that one change for every student that comes into my classroom, and that's why I wanted to become a teacher.
One thing I wish I had known or learned before starting teaching was the difference between control and influence. You can share your passion with the subject, you can find whatever level they're at in terms of their understanding of the content, and then you can help them move forward with that. But ultimately, it comes down to them making a choice. So you're providing that influence for them to make that positive choice.
I think too often we get tied down to schedules, and when you have that moment or a child's doing something, you just have to go with the flow. But not only flexibility for myself, my students, and as co-workers, working together and just realizing sometimes that lesson plan isn't the most important, but it's what the children are doing at that moment.
I'm a very structured person, and so when I first started teaching, I would have these lesson plans that I was really excited about and would have all of these great ideas for, but then it would turn out that my students maybe needed something else. So just learning that students need you to be flexible and to go with what they need.
I wish I had known more about classroom management before I started, but that's also something that comes with experience. And so just learning how to do that is really important, but it does come with experience.
When you're very nervous to talk to a parent about something, 9 times out of 10, that parent is going to say, we see the same thing at home.
I kind of feel like in college, we get a lot of, here's some scenarios. I wish I would have learned more of, here's what really happens. Getting out into the field, I wasn't prepared for, maybe necessarily just knowing I'm going to have to tie 20 pairs of shoes every day in first grade, or I might have to wipe some noses.
I wish I had felt more comfortable to be Melissa the teacher, because I felt like I had to be the professional, perfect, everything was ready to go and every lesson was going to be perfect and nothing was going to be screwed up. And I wish that I had felt more comfortable to be, you know what, we're going to go in because I think this is great. And if it's great, wonderful. If it's not, I'm going to use that feedback and I'm going to adapt and learn. Because when a teacher stops learning, the kids are going to be done. The kids are going to be done learning. So I wish I had felt more comfortable to maybe take some of those risks. And that's one of the best things about being here, honestly, is we're encouraged to take those risks.
You can't do it all. Sometimes when you come in, you want to be that big impact for students. You want to change everything and do everything. And as a classroom teacher, you can't always do that. You have to take it day by day, step by step, in what the students' needs are.
Also, I wish I would have known how exhausting teaching is, so I could have had a little heads up on what it's like to teach and have a family.
For new teachers, the best advice I can give them is to remember to be flexible, to know that things aren't always going to go to plan, that things aren't always going to be perfect, and it's okay. That what's most important is that your students are happy, they're engaged, and that they're excited to learn.
Build relationships with your students first. I feel if the students know that you care for them and that they're in a safe environment, that their learning just automatically follows.
Take time for yourself. We spend a lot of hours doing things, but you have to take that time so you don't get wore out and just run down.
The advice I have for new teachers would be to use their colleagues, especially the colleagues who have been teaching for a long time, because they have a wide toolbox, a large toolbox of different things that they know about teaching, and using them to help them get through day to day.
You need to know your content and you need to know your students. There are going to be days where you're going to present something and the whole class is just going to give you this blank stare. If you recognize where they're at with not understanding it, and then you connect that with how well you know your content, you can figure out a different way to present it.
Take risks and don't be afraid to learn. I would say the first thing, buddy up to a mentor. Buddy up to somebody that you watch them and you see them and you want to emulate them. Buddy up to that person and learn everything you can.
I think the more you get to know your students and let them know how much you care about them and respect them, they will do almost anything for you.
It's okay to make a mistake and to learn yourself as a teacher. And when that happens, don't give up on yourself and to rely on your colleagues for support and help.
What makes me happiest about being a teacher is seeing the kids every day, seeing them learning new things, when they have their aha moments, when they learn something new. It's very meaningful, and that's exactly why I became a teacher.
My proudest moment as a teacher are those days when I don't need to teach. And it's not that it's those days when it's like, oh, I just get to sit at my desk and they get to test and I don't have to teach. It's not that at all. It's those days when I've got the students up at the board and they're working in groups and I can put a question on and they all, okay, here we go. And they all jump in and they're asking each other those clarifying questions. And somebody will say, well, I think we should do this with it. And then they'll say, well, is that really what we should do? Why should we do this? And they're defending their work. And I'm able just to sit back and watch that happen.
At the end of the year, when you see the growth that your students make from the beginning to the end, it just makes you very proud of yourself on what you did, because you know you can see that you're making a change.
What I love most is when I see my kids take what we do in the classroom and put it into their lives. And that's, I think at this level, that really is the most important, when I see them care.
They've grown a lot academically, but to see what amazing people they are and how caring they are without any reminders from adults is really inspiring.
Teachers have to understand that every day's a new day. When you have a room full of children, they're bringing all those personalities and all their home life or what happened 5 minutes ago on the bus, and that don't get discouraged, because the next day it's going to be a whole new adventure.